Hello, 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 Facebook family. How are you this evening? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Bridging Through Conversations, Closing the Gap. This is Spirit Love. This is Diane, and Tasha is on her way. Um, and tonight, guys, we're gonna talk about the conference last week. We're just gonna do a recap of the conference from last week, Spirit of Love Towards Hope Conference, the third annual conference, and we had some awesome speakers last week talking about new movement to purpose, right? And our scripture was Isaiah 43:18 and 19. If you don't know what it is, I'm going to read it. I'm going to tell you what it is. It says, "But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do, for I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create." What we talked about on last week was doing a new thing, doing this the COVID 2020. It changed a lot of people, and a lot of people began to do different things in their life when it comes to their purpose, right? And that's basically what it is all about, doing things in purpose of what God would desire for you to do, right? But sometimes you have new methods in it, and one of our speakers last week talked about that, okay? And we're just going to begin to just recap on those things that we talked about, okay? Here's Tasha. Hey, 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 hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I just did an introduction of what we were going to do tonight, doing a recap of our conference last week. Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself, and we're going to get into this thing, okay?
Well, hey, 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 everybody. This is Tasha, aka TC Knows. No, I do not know everything, but I love sharing with you what I do know. And let me tell you, last week, that conference was so good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I got me a lot of good nuggets. I surely did.
It
Yes.
was awesome. It was awesome. And I'm just going to refresh you on who our speakers were. On the first night, which was the 18th, was Pastor Dana Hamilton. And she is the pastor of Unleashed, right? And that thing was something. And then on the 19th, we had Minister Teresa Johnson, and she is the CEO founder of To Serve with Love, which is an organization that helps the community. Do all kinds of things for the community. Not too long ago, we did a school supply giveaway, and we don't only just do that. We do things with the homeless community. We do things with the senior citizens. We do things with people from the hospital. We're just a community service organization, okay? And then on Friday, August the 20th, we had Dennis Reed on here, right? And he is the CEO, the founder of Inspire to Fire, which is an organization that works with our young people from, I believe it's from age 12 and up to, I think 25, if I'm not mistaken. But the main thing that we talked about this particular time was he has a new organization called We Influence LCC, right? That thing is awesome, okay? And he says some awesome things. I think that somebody was a little biased on his because she really threw out some comments on that one. So I really do believe that that is the one that she is going to pull, more on, which he did. And don't get me wrong, everybody put out great information on this new movement to purpose. All of it was just awesome. And it's really like, I wish I could just do it all over again because it was just that good. If you did not see the conference last week, the replay is out there. Please go out on Spirit Love and listen to the replay of the conference on August 18th through the 20th. I'm telling you guys, it is awesome. And it gave you a lot of information on this new movement that man didn't make it. We're not the one that said it about the new movement. I gave you a scripture, Isaiah 43. And when God was talking about this new thing, which is Christ Jesus and what he did when he came, when he stepped out here on earth, that was a new thing. And the things that he did while he walked this earth. We always want to try to put Jesus on a throne with his crown on his head and a robe on, and that was not him. He was righteous, he was radical, and he was ratchet. And I'm going to explain the ratchet, y'all. Ratchet is excellent and exciting in all the things that he did while he was here and what he's doing now. Okay? So, Tasha, where you want to start?
That's a good question.
Huh?
'Cause that's a good question because I was thinking about Dennis's day and with you, and yes, I put out a lot of comments. I even did a lot of comments on Minister Teresa. Pastor Dana, I looked at the replay because I think I was driving when you were starting. So of course that's not good to watch and drive. You know, my mom tells me that all the time, and I'll be still trying to do it anyway. But I didn't this time, so I missed it. But I did watch a little of the replay. But all of what I've heard was actually wonderful. But there was one thing that stuck out to me the most. Dennis said, "Oh my gosh," he was talking about himself when he was saying how he's getting all of these opportunities coming his way, of course, because he's definitely anointed, he's definitely gifted, and definitely talented. And so he was talking about charging. You know, he don't even know what to charge people when they, approach him to do different things and these different opportunities. And then he said, when he came off his fast and he had an epiphany, how he had to just give himself, permission. And I was like, and I wrote the quote down, and my iPad is dead because I was
Well,
going to say it.
he said, allow himself to know his worth and give himself permission to prosper. That's
Yes,
what he said. And that was
yes,
truly awesome.
yes.
That's truly awesome.
That's that was for me. That was an ouch and an
Yeah.
amen and a Lordy Jesus.
Yes. Yeah.
That was it for me because I think about how us as believers, we hear all these things, and even us as individuals before. Let's just take church out of it for a minute. Just people in general, us as individuals, we grow up and we hear certain things, and we grow up around, certain environments, and in part of that environment can be negative and positive in the same environment. And sometimes we as individuals will gravitate more to the negative than the positive. which is crazy to me. I don't know why that is, why the negative is more easily to gravitate to than the positive. It that to me, now that I'm old and I've had some experience in my life, that just don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me. So when you're growing up in an environment that has both negative and positive, it's like the gravitation, pull from the negative side. Just and then if you think about it so much, it is embedded in your mind. But if you don't have a person to help pull you out of that space, to help you to think the way that Dennis brought out the thought, and he got that from just meditating. And there's nothing wrong with meditating. And I'm just going to jump back in the Bible for a minute, because it says that meditate day and night.
Yeah.
We got to meditate. We got to think about things that we have, that God has put in us. And we don't even think about that. We don't bring it up. It's like, and then on the way in, I was listening to Willie Moore Jr., how he give his last thoughts about things. And he said, and he was basically talking about the same thing. The positive, the fear. He's like, God gave you the vision, and then the devil giving you the fear. Which one you gonna choose?
Yeah.
But it's like we think about what people have said about us, or we think about what we've as an individual have talked ourselves out of, or told ourselves these negative messages so much. We don't even want to step out and do anything about it. And I'm talking to myself when I say this, because I was thinking about some stuff today, but it's a new, that theme just alone was powerful. And this, I busted out and I hollered. My husband was in the bedroom. I'm in the living room, trying not to disturb him. You know how excited I get when I hear something. You know me. And I busted out and hollered when Minister Teresa said, people are just lazy. I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. We don't want to work towards, and again, I'm in this as well. I'm so guilty of this. We don't want to work towards, and we always want to take the shortcut route. And there's only 1% of this world that don't take the shortcut route. That's why they have the things that they have.
Right.
But this new change that's here, that's taking place, and I believe that Minister Teresa said it, or I heard Minister Dana say it, Pastor Dana say it, or either all three of them probably said it, but a different way. But it just came out to me to be the same. People don't want to accept change.
Yeah, everybody did say it, but they all said it in a different way. That they didn't want to. People didn't want to take because Dana. Let me see, where's Dana? I wrote down all this stuff. I want to just take notes. Dana said that Alicia people don't want to come out of the box. So that was her metaphor of like change, and people don't want to change. They don't want to come out of the box. They want to stay fixated, in this box. And Miss Teresa said that cannot put let me see, individual. Well, she was saying that all individuals are different, right? We got to accept people for who they are when they come into that change, right? And then it said, allow yourself, and then know that the purpose do not change, but the methods change, in the things that you do. So they said it, but all of them said it in different ways to help people to understand. that there is a change, right?
Right.
So all of them said it because all of them believe that, there has to be a change. And one of the things that I like what Dennis said, and you know what, as a matter of fact, all of them said something about the pandemic and change, right? But I like the way Dennis said it. Dennis said, if anybody cannot come out of the you cannot come out of what we just came through without some kind of change in your life. If you do, then there's something wrong. And I believe that because from what we went through during this pandemic, if you didn't, the time that you stayed in your house and by yourself and stuff, if you weren't thinking about something in a way of changing, in a way of doing things in a different way, you have truly lost out on
True.
what God has for you. And as a matter of fact, he said that unwilling, you will be left behind. You'll be left behind if you do not make that change that God has for you, right? And when you was talking, I was thinking about Philippians 4 and 8 when it says to meditate on these things. Okay. And it says, finally, brothers, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are noble, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praiseworthy, meditate on these things. The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you, right? And I like that part of that, but I like the part right here now when it says the things which you learned and received and heard and saw of me. Meaning when Jesus was walking on this earth, right? When you think about the things that you saw what Jesus was doing, those are the things that you need to meditate on. Those are the things that we know, and he want us to know that they're good things. It's good things. The new thing that he did is a good thing
Yeah.
because his new thing was that everybody is a part now. We don't have different, we don't have picks anymore. Everybody is a part. And it's a new thing that a lot of people are doing. And during this pandemic, if you did not evolve into that place, you're gonna be left behind.
Yep. Yep. And something that Willie Moore Jr. said on his show too, during one of his segments at the last part when he was ending the show, he said he was talking about assignments and how, and basically he was talking about change and things, being new and
Mhm.
transformation. But he said don't get comfortable in your assignment.
Yeah, that's that's what Dennis said too. He just said it in a different way. Yeah,
Don't get comfortable in your assignment because your assignments can change and they will change.
right,
They
right.
will change. And if you get comfortable in your assignment, then like you said, you gonna get left behind.
You're gonna get left.
You're gonna be stuck in the same place doing the same thing, thinking you moving, you ain't going nowhere.
And what does the psychology book say about that? When you keep doing the same thing over and
Insane.
over, it say what?
Insane.
Insane.
I don't
If it's
look.
not
I
if it's
don't.
not working, that means you need to change your methods
Mm-hmm.
and do something different, which is what's going on right now. And if you're not again in that movement, that new movement, to purpose, you're just gonna be messed up.
Yeah. Change. Look, change is uncomfortable,
Yeah. Yeah.
but God made it that way for a reason. Because if it was comfortable, then none of us would never grow. Because growing is uncomfortable. Growing hurts.
Yeah.
Growing is not a thing that we go through as humans and what animals go through.
Hmm.
I mean, you and Dennis were talking about, and I love that. Y'all were talking about the metamorphosis, the caterpillar.
Hmm.
And he was sharing that story and you can't. Ain't nowhere in the world you would be deformed if the process is interrupted.
Right. Yeah.
So change is meant to hurt. Change is meant to be uncomfortable. Transformation is meant to hurt.
Mhm.
It's meant to be uncomfortable. It's not meant to be. It's not a feel good moment. It's not. And I was thinking about you and I on the way over here, and the Holy Spirit was talking to me, and I was like, oh. And it's like he played back a few of our shows to me, like in little snippets
Mhm.
as I was driving. And he was saying to me that we are not, we need to be more open, meaning, come out our shell a little more.
Mhm. Well, girl, how you think people gonna accept us? We already out our shell. And if we come out anymore, girl, I don't know what they're gonna think.
Oh well.
Girl, what in the world?
And I was like, and I'm driving, I'm like, and I felt that thought came. I was like, Lord, the stuff we already talking about. And you want us to be more like just without, again, unapologetic. When a new movement, a new era, and I thought about Pastor Jim Swiley. I thought about Pastor Kevin. Man, I love them dudes.
Girl, they are a mess. You hear
And
me?
Hakeem and Bishop Cousin, I love them, and
Yes.
you know what? And I believe that people they are so afraid of transformation slash change, and I'm using those terms interchangeably. But people are so afraid of that because of what others might think, like you just stated. What they gonna think about us if we come out, if we really, I mean, just really just open up more?
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, because you know what? Because I think about when we did the girl, that this series is gonna be kind of rough too. But I think about when we did the secular music thing, right? And how that was, but it came across so well. See, I think our problem is in some ways is that we worry so much about what people are gonna say, but then when we start talking about it, is what they want to hear.
Right, right.
So I don't think when I say, God, what they're gonna think about, us now, we're already out, what they're gonna think when we really like bam, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're already there. It's that we're still going in a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that something you're gonna move up a little higher, they're gonna beat the devil down. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way we're going. We're just moving up, just a little higher in where we started from. Because when we started, and we were a little timid when we started, right?
Oh yeah.
But now we have had so many guests on our show that's like so unapologetic about who they are. It's like we can't go back. We have to keep going forward
Right.
in what we do and what we bring across this platform.
Yeah.
And I guessed on last week gave us a little snippet of it,
Mm-hmm.
of what how far we're gonna be going into this thing. So the epiphany that you had is just the next step on where God would desire, for us to go.
Right. And that theme wasn't just for the guests that came on, during the conference. That was for us. That was for us, for this platform, for us bridging through conversation, closing the gap. That's for us because there are going to be times where we're going to have conversations that are going to be very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
that we're going to have to discuss, but we're going to have to be willing to open up and to really, because we're going to be trained. We're transforming now right before the people's eyes. People
Yeah,
that
we
know
was
us personally,
yeah,
they be like, lady,
yeah,
I ain't doing that. Tasha
yeah,
doing that?
yeah.
No. They don't know it's
Yeah,
God, I'm telling you.
yeah, we was like, when I think about that, I always talk about metamorphosis because I love that analogy, because I always think about my mother when she want to kill the little green worms, right? And I be trying to tell her those are butterflies, but she just don't like them, right? And when I think about those little inchworms, the little green inchworms, I think about how hard it is for them to transform
Mhm.
into what God has designed them to do, right? And that's the way it is with us, right? It's so hard for us to transform
Mhm.
into what God would desire for us to be, but it can be done.
Yep. It
It
can
can
be.
be done. And that's the route again that we're going in, right now. Because I think about when I was talking to Dennis, I think about when I was talking to Dennis, I don't know why I really want to get all four of them on the show, my boys and Dennis, right? Because they are like, and then my nephews, if I could get all of these, if we get all of these guys to come on the show, right? And just let them tell you about, their history, their transformation and stuff, right? I think that it would enlighten so many people on the outside to see that this can happen.
Hmm.
You can do this. It may not feel good, may not look good sometimes, but it can happen, and it's going to be a challenge. But We got to go to Proverbs 3, right? We can't lean to understanding on this change. We got to trust God in all of the steps that we make when we're going through this transformation. Like Dennis said, it did feel good because, as we know, he didn't share it, but I'm just going to say, as we know, that he just went through something that was very, traumatic, with him, right? So, and that's part of his transformation that he had to go through to even get that epiphany on that am I worthy, am I worthy of even setting a price, or am I even worthy of even stepping in the shoe of prosperity, right?
Mhm.
Am I even worthy of that, right?
Right.
And he had to go through it to even get to that point. I just believe that. And that's also, we've been through some things in our life, right? We haven't really talked fully, about it, but it's part of the new movement, to purpose for all of us.
Yeah. And I think about ooh, girl, you see this nail polish I got.
Yeah.
See, that's something we would have never done that. I remember when our nails was natural, no color on them in our exhortation days.
See what I'm saying? But now look at that.
Look at that. What
I
was that
saw that
about?
when you came on. I said, and you know what? And it's part of the worthy. And are we worth this? Are we
Yeah.
worthy of the change of the transformation, that's happening in our life that before we wouldn't do stuff, we would not have done, regular fingernail polish, but not this. I think this is called gel. I don't even know what it's called.
Jail.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Would we have been, would we have even be doing what we're doing right now?
No.
Right. And it was a process to get here,
Yeah.
and it was a hard process because then you had to listen to the negative, the negativity that came with this, right?
Yeah.
And but the thing about it is that we made that step.
We did.
We made the step.
We have to. I mean, we had to, at the time, and I think about the events that play up to even now. I think about and I reflect on those all the time. And I'm like, gosh, if that wouldn't happen, then I wouldn't have got this. Just like you said about Dennis, if that wouldn't happen to him, then he wouldn't have got that. If this, if you wouldn't been going through things you wouldn't been going through, then you wouldn't be, where you are now. So I'm thinking about, okay, well, Lord, and I always say this, God, you got a plan for everything. He got a plan for
Is that is that
everything.
what Jeremiah 29:11 says?
Yes.
For I know
For
what?
the thoughts that I have towards you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. And when he said that was his favorite verse, that keeps him pressing on because he thinks about, that God has a plan for him, even though he might not see it at the moment, but he know that it's gonna be something good because God got something to do with it.
Yes. Yeah. And every last one of them said that in their own way, but Dennis just pulled the verse out, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a verse for everyone to like continue to meditate on and to
Mm-hmm.
know that if God said it, that settles it and that he actually
Yeah.
has a plan for us and it's not to harm us. I think that if we could get it through our mind, Tasha, that whatever God has for us is not to harm us. We think that when we go through the challenges of this new movement, that
Mm-hmm.
we're being harmed in some kind of way. But no, those things is what make you strong, right? That's
Right.
what strengthen you, and you don't let it like for example, it says, "Don't forget." But forget all that, right? Because it's getting ready to change, right? And then Paul turned around and said, "Forget about those things, that's behind us, and look to the future, right?"
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it, though, what we got to understand is that we got to remember our struggles, right? We got to remember them, so when we're in conversation with other people about how we made it here, right, we'll let them know that there was a challenge, right? There was a challenge, but look where God brought me. Look where God has moved me, has transformed me, have set me up for prosperity.
Right. Absolutely. And this is something that I believe is going to happen for us because I'm telling you that theme is so us for real. It is so us because we and the Lord just poured. I mean, he's like he just pouring that down in me now. You know, while we sitting here having this conversation, he's letting me know that the next shows that we do, because we're coming up the next series. You know, October, you know, September, October, November, December. So we got 4 months. So coming to the end of 2021, and gosh, we've been doing this show for a while. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I
So
am
he's
truly
letting us know that our job is not to make the people feel comfortable. It's to make them feel uncomfortable.
It's make them do this here,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not even them, but us also,
Us
but it's make
also.
you, to,
Yep.
to move and just try to get comfortable, but then you can't
You
because,
can't.
it's just hitting you in every direction,
Yep.
in your total mind, your whole
Yep.
body, heart, mind,
Yep.
in a holistic way.
Yep. And it's we and he's going to give us topics and guests that are going to align with the vision that he gives us to move us in the direction that he wants us to go, because the conversations that we will have is of course to make the viewers uncomfortable to promote transformation,
Transformation. That's it. Yeah.
because the only way that they are going to get to where they need to be is for them to be uncomfortable,
Yeah.
to be in a restless state, not in a bad way but in a good way,
Mhm. Yeah.
because we I believe that my gifts, and I'm pretty sure it's connected with what the gifts that God has given to you. But I believe that my gift is to encourage people to do something that they never done before, even if they only done it, their first time. To do it, do do something they never done before.
Yeah.
To encourage people, that's my gift. God has given me that gift to encourage people and inspire people to do something that they never done before, that they never thought that they would even do,
Yeah.
but to do it, because how else will you know that it can be done if you never done it before? Or just like me, I've talked about this before, and it's still in line with purpose and moving towards, still in line with that.
Right.
Man, when I went zip lining, I was like, I'm a black female. We do not do zip lining. We
Yeah.
don't. Anyway, at the time I did it, I didn't know nobody that was looked like me
Right.
that did zip lining, but I was like, I got to get over my fear of heights.
Yeah.
And when I did it, loved it. And so now it opened up me in so many ways to just try things that I never tried before, that I never thought about trying before.
Yeah.
Even how I got to this point, he reminded me of the incident that happened that caused me to tell God this, like, out of my mouth, like, what next, God? What now? What do you want me to do now? You don't cause this to happen, so what you want me to do now? This is how I'm talking to God, like, just upset.
Yeah.
And that's what led me into doing FB lives and being challenged by somebody else, and it just kept going and going and going. So our purpose, everybody's purpose, I believe it connects in some kind of a way.
Yeah.
In some
Yeah.
kind of a
I,
way.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe that because it's just like it says in First Corinthians 12 about the different gifts and body,
Mm-hmm.
right? That we all have to work together to make this body whole, to make the
Mm-hmm.
Christ, like Christ is the head, and then the body parts. All of us have to come together to make it a whole and to make our purpose successful
Yeah.
or complete or whichever way you want to say it. We all have to come together, to make it happen in some kind of way. It might not be like we personally meet or anything like that, but we have some kind of connection. Because I think about with Bishop Swirly, I had never met him before, right? I never met him before, but the other week we actually came together and we met each other, right? But it was for a purpose. And the purpose was I feel, and we he when he do meditations during the week, and I sent something to him one week, and I told him that the purpose I just believe is that the unity of all people, right? Because at that retreat, it was, Tasha, when I say that it was all people, all groups of people that was out there, and it was all, they were all out there in love. And that's my, that was my
And you went
thing.
without me?
I'm sorry.
Oh
I
Lord.
took my mother and my grandbaby and my niece, but he's getting ready to do another one in Chattanooga, and I'm most definitely gonna be there. But that's what it was about, and somebody got up and made that statement, and I said, that's exactly what it is, because that's what I have been talking about for the last maybe 5 or 6 years. I've been talking about being unified, right? As a whole, no matter what lifestyle you live, what color you were, what occupation or anything like that, but just the coming together of people, right? And when we finally came together, that's what it was, the unity of all people, girl. And when I say that thing was awesome, it
I
was awesome.
believe it.
It
Well,
was, but and then I'm thinking, why am I? Listen, Tasha, why am I invading this man's Facebook page? Why am I doing this? I even had to ask him. I said, "Am I going to be free now? You're not going to charge me. You're not going to put no charges against me now, right?" And but that is what it was for, girl. I'm telling you,
mhm.
it was so awesome, and that's the new thing
Yeah,
that God was talking about in Isaiah 43, is that we all come together. We're all a part, the body. And we don't know how we're going to do it. Like Dennis said, everybody used different methods, to make this thing happen that God was talking about, that new thing that he sent Jesus for, and
yeah,
gave us the example in Jesus on how we should do it, right? And that was the epitome of that new movement towards purpose when I went with him down.
mm,
So we don't know. We just don't know how it's going to come, how it's going to come about, how we're going to meet the people, or if we ever meet them, because this virtual thing now, we just don't know. But as First Corinthians 12 say, the only way that it's going to be successful is that the body parts have to come together under the head, which is Christ Jesus, and all of those things just come together and make it
right.
work.
Wow. Well, I'm
So,
excited. Next month is going to be amazing. But you know what? I want to challenge us to get. I want some young adults. I would love to have some young adults to come on and be a guest for that for the series next month, and because that would really open up our eyes even the more as older adults in our
right,
generation. Well, my generation, your generation, and for them to talk about those things, and if they have experienced it, and if they have, you know, how did they handle it? That would be
right.
amazing.
It would be. Let me see if I can bring this graphic up. Uh, Let me see. Wait a minute. And you saw that it was supposed to be. I thought I was going to be able to bring it up with this, with us on there, because I was gonna see if we could talk about it, like the different, to do it. I'm gonna learn this thing one day. But yeah, but I put those the psychedelic colors and stuff on there for our advertisement for our word series, because of that reason what you just said, because things like that attract young people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like different colors, and then we talk about the words, do words have color, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we would talk to a young person, they probably would say yes, they do. And for each word that we have on there, they would have an example for each one of those words. And it would be good if we could find some young person
Yeah.
to cover those other words. It's 3 words left.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good. That would be good. I think that it's gonna work out. I think that it's gonna work out. But guys, y'all, please be looking for this series that we're gonna do with the words. What are they, Tasha?
Words don't have color, emotions. Words have emotions, hate, love, prejudice, and racism behind them.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that as in the perspective of church, individual, society.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a really tough and awesome topic because of what's going on now.
Yeah.
What we're going on in the world today, not only here in the United States. And believe me, guys, this is still in the topic that we talked about last week in the conference, new movement to purpose. This is right in there with it. As a matter of fact, in the heart
Yeah.
of that topic that about words and how do we overcome or how do we embrace those words to continue to move, into our purpose that God has designed us for. Because sometimes those words will pull us back and stop us from doing what God has desired for us to do. But He still desires for us to walk in purpose of what He has designed us for in this day and in this time.
Right. And I'm gonna what the thought that I have in mind. I'm gonna leave the viewers with this, and I want you all to think about it because I'm definitely gonna be pondering on it. And lady Spirit Love, you ponder on it too. But those words, emotions, love, hate, prejudice, racism. Think about those words. I believe that we've all been through that in some shape, form, or fashion. And God will use that to bring you to the place where you need to be. But
Most.
let's take hate for instance. There's we've experienced hate. I know I have. And that's a strong word. And have you ever thought about God using hate to get you to the place where He wants you to be? Have you embraced hate to know that He's using it some kind of a way to get a message or purpose across to you to do something about it? And the reason why I bring that up is because this movie on Netflix, I think it's on Netflix, is called The Best of Enemies, and it's based on a true story. And it was actually took place in Durham, North Carolina in 1971.
Hmm.
And I watched that, and yes, I had all kinds of all those words came flooding through me when I was watching that movie. But it was really, really good. And God used hate in that man. And He used, let me see, the woman, of course, was a black female. The man was a white male. He was part of the Ku Klux Klan. He was actually the president. And they became the best of friends at the end. And emotions, love, hate, prejudice, and racism all was displayed during this movie between the two of them.
What was the name of it again?
The Best of Enemies.
I'm gonna have to look at that.
And
Okay.
God used all of those words to get them to a place to make for transformation to take place during that time in Durham, North Carolina, during the 70s.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that what was that with Taja? What's her name?
Taraji P.
Taja.
Henson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to look at that. I've seen that advertised, but I never looked at it. I'm gonna have to look at it. Because sometimes when I see things like that, I don't want to see it because I don't want to experience all over again all of those words. But I think that it will, like you say, it will benefit us because
Hmm.
then we'll know how to handle those words that keep surfacing up. on us. We'll be able to handle it and still move forward with where we should be going and stuff. And I think that's a lot of reasons why people won't move forward in who God say they are, because they have so much hatred in them
Mm-hmm.
because of those words.
Right.
And we have to learn how to move beyond those words. And as Dennis said, know our worth and allow God to do what He wants to do with us, and that's to prosper us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to share. Hopefully somebody will um take heed and decide to watch the movie, and hopefully they'll get something from it.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, guys, I do pray that you got something from this recap of the conference last week. New movement to purpose, and to know that, as Tasha said, that sometimes challenges are come, in our life, but we still have to keep moving forward in the things that God would desire for us to do. And also, guys, please, please, please be looking forward to our word series. I just want to say they are. I really do believe that you're going to get something out of it, because one of the speakers actually have been involved with a lot of these things because of the age of this individual, and they have been through every last one of these words. So what
Mm.
we're gonna yeah. So what we're gonna talk about is really gonna benefit you and really gonna let you know that you can move forward in the things that you have gone through. If you have experienced those things, that there's people gonna be on there that have experienced it and have moved forward in their life to purpose. Okay, so please, 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 again, look forward to these series, and share, and let people know that we are going to do these series. And again, they are going to benefit you.
Yes.
Okay, they will benefit you. Okay, this is Spirit Love, Diane, and I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it but love me back, guys. Know that this Delta variant out here is real. Please, please, please continue to wear your mask and wash your hands, even if you have had the vaccine, that's the shot. Please continue to do it, because this thing is not playing with nobody. And it's really messed with our children, and we would desire to see our children grow old. So please, 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 please take heed to this and wear your mask, wash your hands. And if you haven't had your shots, really reconsider it, and go ahead and do it so we can get out of this pandemic. Okay. And I say this because I work in the hospital and I see these things that's happening to our people, to our young people. Okay. So believe it. Okay. All righty.
Yes, yes.
Any more last words, Tasha?
Nope. Y'all know who this is. This is Tasha, aka TC Knows. No, I do not know everything, but we just share with you what we do know. That we are moving towards purpose. Yes.
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 And loving every step of it.
Absolutely.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you.
All right. Like Tasha.
Bye bye.